Is the mic working? Looks like we got a little green light on, green light on, the red light on, and 0 viewers, just like we like it. What's going on? Doing a live video. Haven't done a live video in a little while, but we're gonna start out with one this morning. Why not? Part of the reason we haven't done a live video is because I don't know if maybe I haven't said this on YouTube. I've said it on a few different places. Patreon, and also maybe dabbled with the announcement on Instagram. But we have a new guy working at Outer Woods. He's been doing a great job. He's done so much cool stuff for the shop already. The shop looks more organized than it ever has. I know back here still looks kind of chaotic, but like, look at this corner over here. I know that maybe it doesn't look any different to you. This corner is crazy how organized. There's so much space over here now. It's crazy. Anyway, so we have a new guy in the shop that pretty much is working part-time right now. And the only reason it's not more full-time is just because I'm trying to still make a lot of content, and making a lot of content means that I work from home a fair amount, just editing. It's kind of like half and half now, where I'm in the shop making things and then not in the shop editing things. And so when I'm in the shop, the new guy's here and I'm trying to teach him things. And honestly, that could be a cool thing to maybe do live, but part of it has just been when you have a new guy and you're really trying to make sure that things are going well. Sorry, I get texts every once in a while. I need to make sure they're not urgent. When you're trying to make sure they're, they have what they need, they're doing what they're supposed to, they're not, doing something that you don't know about or think about. It takes a lot of mental energy, and because of that, I haven't had the time really, or like the mental capacity to just start a live like this. Yeah, and I think also part of it is that when I'm doing lives, I've always just kinda, "What's up, Corey? Good to have you in the chat. Good morning. Um, man, that coffee looks good," in your little emoji right there. I didn't have coffee this morning, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I was just talking about how we got a new guy in Outer Woods. It's kind of the first hire we've ever really had. We've had a few people in and out of Outer Woods, that have been helping with various things. Right now, we've got a couple people that are helping with content, just like the whole production of it, the management of everything with content, and they've been extremely helpful. But then this has kind of been the first time I've ever brought on a new woodworker to help actually do the woodworking. And the idea is that if we can have someone to help do the woodworking, we can still take on a similar volume of projects to what we've always taken on, but now we have more hands to get those projects done quicker, more efficiently, and then I get freed up to make more content and tell more stories to you guys. So, all that to say, we have a new guy. He is coming in at some point mid to late morning this morning, but I thought why not get on a live real quick because we haven't done one in a while. So, if you saw the thumbnail, we got a few people, so we'll get going. If you saw the thumbnail, we're making coffee tables today, which are very modern, and kind of difficult. They're organic. They're really interesting. If you don't know what they look like, just go check out the thumbnail again. I'm sure you can hop out, hop back in. They're really cool. Um, I've already made these before actually, and I had them for a house out kind of like West Texas ish, not super super west, but a little West Texas in the Texas Hill Country. And if you followed up or followed current events last summer in Texas, you know that there was a lot of flooding out in the hill country. And this house was one of the victims of that flooding. So these two coffee tables and a dining table, which is that hard to be a weatherman, you know what I mean? Uh, that table, they all got flooded out and damaged. So I have to remake all of them. So it's a sad thing to have heard that happen, but also cool that they really like the pieces and they just want them redone again. Insurance is covering them, so that was a positive note that they didn't have to pay out of pocket for the new tables. But right now, that's one of the tables. It's a circular table, and then that's the other table, which is generally a rectangle, but it's got some gentle curves to it, which are difficult if you can't really do the whole put a pin somewhere and do the string to get a radius. If we wanted to do that method, the string would have to be like, I think it was 60 feet long or something, and the center of it would be like outside in the woods over there. So tough to make those curves. But this morning, what we're going to start out on is we're actually going to make the legs. We're going to continue making the legs of these tables. So I've already made one, kind of, right here. It's looking pretty cool. And this guy, theoretically, will go right here underneath the table. He will look kind of like this. So I need to make another one over there. And I already have this glue up done. And the good Yikes. Are we back? We've lost everybody. Hopefully we're back. Whoops. All right. That wasn't. Oh, there we go. Cool. Thank you, Corey. Sorry, I was taking a phone call, and it was an odd person to call at a certain time. So I was like, this is probably something. And it was something, but we're okay. Anyway, so we have one of the legs made. It goes up just like this. This is going to be obviously the underside of the table, but we need the other leg. The good news is we have this one as a template. Now we have to just basically trace it. And the hard part was actually getting that one to be that shape in the first part. It should be much easier to now do the second one because we have a template. If you have ever done woodworking before, you know that carving, creating shapes, it's actually really, I wouldn't say straightforward, but it's a lot more straightforward than like creating shapes after you have a template is much more straightforward when you already have the template. Having to create this one first, these little nubs up here, can't really see them from there. And there's a gentle curve here and this whole thing. It's difficult to do that. And so there's a lot of things that I was having to do to make this shape exactly like it is. Now that it is like that, we should be able to put this one down right here. And then now we can bring this guy up here. That kicked up a lot of dust, man. We should be able to put this guy up here, and we should be able to use a router. We don't even have to trace this with a pencil, if you can believe it. We should just be able to, actually, we're going to flip this over once. No, we're not. There's a little area up at the top where I made a mistake. The router slipped on me. And if you've ever used a router, you know they slip on you sometimes. And so it kind of took out a little bit of a gouge. So we don't want to use that gouged area as our template for this guy. That's the goal. So if I had thought about this earlier, I would have gotten out all my tools in advance. But as you heard me saying at the very beginning, this was kind of an impromptu live session because it just so happened that the new guy was not here yet in the shop. So I was just taking the opportunity to do a live video, and that's what we got. All right, we have one of the two bits that we need. The other bit is probably on the router. So this is what we need right here. This bearing right there is going to trace the shape of the top one, the template that we've made. And then all this red stuff is going to actually cut the same shape that the bearing is riding upon. So we should be able just to trace that thing with a router. Let me get the number. Then once we do that, um, we'll have two identical pieces, is the idea. Great, the router does have the other bit that we need. That's fantastic. I do need to get my mask and goggles. There's some goggles, there's a mask. Bang. Cool. And I am going to wheel this entire apparatus. Nightbot, what's going on? Nightbot, I have no idea how up to date you are on things. We'll see, we'll see if you're saying weird stuff today. I'm gonna move the entire table here. What's the door? Because when I use the router, this is one of the tools that really kicks up a lot of stuff right now. Um, Not even just right now, all the time, always and forever with the router. So I always like to try to do it closer to the garage door that I have that's kind of open to the world. Yeah, just like that. Cool, cool, cool. That's a decent little, yeah. Right on. Okie dokie. There's one thing I have to do really quickly. I'll take you, actually, I'll leave you there. But this is pertaining to that call that I had earlier. I need to take a picture of something. Be right back. Sorry, this is a little bit of a chaotic live session so far. I have to take a picture. What happened is I have someone else's license in my wallet, which is not ideal. Um, Leshai? Leshy? I have no idea how to pronounce that. I apologize. That's on me. That's not on you. That is on me. But I appreciate the emojis there. If you give me 30 seconds, I'm going to take a picture of something, and then I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I promise. We're going to be right back. Oh, all right. We've lost a lot of people. It's not been the best live session so far. We're getting there. All right. So we're going to trace this thing. We have the router. We need to switch out the bits because they're not quite correct. This bit does the same thing, but it reaches across something and takes the shape of it, whereas the bit that I'm switching into it kind of reaches down from the shape that it is tracing. So I switch it out real fast. Uh, I never know when people watch these lives how much they know about woodworking or don't know about woodworking. So I never know what to explain as something that's like, oh, you wouldn't know this, or just kind of gloss over it because if I explained it and you already knew it, I don't know if that would be annoying. Um, this is a router, what I'm working on here, and they're really cool. They spin bits really, really quickly, and you have nice flat surfaces like this to ride on. That's kind of what they do. And you can make all sorts of different patterns and cuts. They're really nice. I would recommend a router wholeheartedly if you are getting into woodworking and are just kind of like, I don't know, trying to get maybe the first like 2 or 3 or 4 tools. A router is an extremely versatile tool. Um, and that's kind of the spiel I have on it. One thing I do want to do before I start cutting this is make sure I'm happy with the placement of this onto the new one. The template is already what the template is, but we're going to be placing it onto the new set of legs. And on the new set of legs, I see some different things that I might want to avoid. For instance, let's see. This side looks really good. There's not much on this side. I see some little, I don't know if you want to call them holes, kind of cracks, little voids, whatever. This side has a few more. I see we're chunked out up here, so we'll definitely avoid that. Probably want to avoid this thing right here. I don't know if you can see it. Bring you in a little closer. Bring you in just a little closer. There we go. Uh, want to try to avoid that. There's some stuff just really in the, center of this entire thing that there's no hope in avoiding. And then the question is, which side of this do we want to be up? Which side do we want to be down? I think I want this side to be up, because you're really gonna see the fins when it's up like that. So I think we could probably, there's nothing catastrophic to either miss or try to include here or any specific way. We really want to try to orient it. So I'm not very worried about hitting that perfectly. So anyway, that's now on there, kind of where we want it to be. I do want to position this in such a way to where we can clamp it and not have the clamp get in the way of any of the routing that we need to do. Um, Yo, what's going on, Walker Payne? How are we doing? Good morning. That still feels good. I don't think that moved on us. Let's clamp it. You can just clamp it straight to the table. That is not going to be going anywhere. Cool. Okay, that's clamped onto the other leg. Now, here's what we have to do. Fareed, am I saying that correctly? I definitely recognize the name Fareed. I hope I'm saying that okay. I'm gonna try to move this thing down. Great. Let me just try to show you what I'm looking at here. This is the router right here. And there's the bit. This little silver part is going to be riding on the template, and then the red part is going to be cutting. So we have to drop this thing. All of this will be riding on top of the template. So we have to drop this to where the bearing is riding on the template right here. And this, the cutter head, is actually cutting into the new material. So it's a little bit of a, I don't know, you just kind of have to get a feel for it. And so I'm trying to get you a good vantage point so you can see what I'm looking at. I have no idea if you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. You cannot see it at all. And here at Outer Woods, we need to make sure that you guys are getting properly educated on everything woodworking. So we're gonna take the extra 30 seconds to drop the camera even further, get you looking up at it. Maybe you'll be able to see it now. Okay, cool. So again, template, this guy, this one here is the one we're trying to cut. So when I put this there, you can see, can you see it? Yes, you can see it. I want to make that silver bearing drop to where it is really in the meat of the template. And I want my red cutter head to be pretty good into the one underneath it, but maybe not like super, super deep, because if it's too deep, that's going to be really hard for it to cut. But I like that. It's probably, I don't know, a quarter of an inch into it. I think that's where I'm gonna want things. There's one spot where it's like halfway. I think that's gonna be fine. I think that's where we want it, gang. So let me bring you back up while I make this cut so you can see what that looks like. There's one thing I gotta fix on the camera real fast. I really like this stand, but where the phone actually connects to the stand, there's this screw that gets loose sometimes, and it just kind of makes the whole thing wobbly. So I've just tightened it. All right, cool, cool, cool. We'll put you right here. Awesome. Now we're just getting outlet extension cord, so we can turn on the router, plugging it in, bang. Okay. Now with routers, this spins in a certain direction. And so you can only move it really in a certain direction or else it'll jump on you. I don't know which direction that is for this bit. Sometimes I'm telling you, it's not always the same depending on the bit. So we'll have to kind of see if we want to go that way around it, clockwise around it, or counterclockwise around it. We should be good. I'm gonna turn on the flail just so we try to manage the wood flake available. Put on the goggles, safety first. And what they're gonna basically do this bottom there, nice and close. It does seem like it. That's not what I'm doing. You see what I'm doing? You know. Yeah. There we go. Let's slow like that. Yes, I do. As set. And I know that Ryobi's not the most elite brand in the world, but I will say, for a router, it does fine. There's a reason I have this one for that. Okay, there you go. When we get there at the end, if you press it and then you try to, I don't know, take the router bit out, like you want to take a break for a second, and you bring it up, but then you smash into the like very, very tight corridor that you made, that's when the router can really jump. So when I want to take a break for a second, I like clear out just this little hole right here. You can see it. I just want to clear out that tiny little hole. Where is the tiny hole? There, yeah. So you can see the path that I just made. It's right here. The bit was just riding along the actual template, and then in the new substrate, I guess you could call it, that I want to cut, I was just making this nice little groove. But I wanted to take just a moment to tell you guys this. Uh, yes, Patty Gang. Hell yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to take a break, so I just cleared out a little, I don't know, resting patch for me. All right, yeah, who is this guy indeed? Um, Good to see you, Ryan. Maybe I know you, Ryan. I don't know if I know some Ryans, but you might just be a avid watcher of the channel, and you know that Outer Mom is frequently uh showcased. She's saved my ass many times on this venture when I have got myself in over my head, and I'm not gonna hit deadlines unless I have Outer Mom to save the day. All right, let's keep doing this. I'll get around the corner. Um, I'm gonna have a view in a second. With my mom's. Hello. Perfect.
So now this little pocket here, I can get back into that, and that's what I can start. That's what I'm talking about. Getting around this little edge is gonna be tough because I don't have nearly as much surface on top to ride on. So it's like I really gotta make sure I'm pushing. How'd that go? How did that go? I think it went pretty well. Yeah, that went well. Cool. This is where the gouge is right here. And again, I just one little slip of the hand a few days ago, and I just gouged it just a little. It's gonna be fine. It's in an area that will actually be underneath the table. But even someone who's been doing this for a long time will make a mistake. And I did. Awesome. And remember, I made that little hole over here, so now I can right back into that. Keep going. Okay. Right. Yep. Uh, also good.
What's going up, Garnett? What's going on, Oscar? Good to have you guys in the chat.
So I'm right gonna count over here. Pretty well, okay. Uh, that's now. So it feels like that's tight. It feels like things are jumping a little bit. I don't know if this is a tight or what. What? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, Brian. Just keep going. It does feel like this Nairobi. It's a little tired. If that word makes sense. It said before, we don't have nearly as much circus up here to ride on. So it's really hard to find that, I don't know, that reference point up here. Fun! That was fun. For the first time. Yeah,
Yeah, it got a little swirly around the corner, but we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Um, Now all we have is just a shallow trench in the correct shape. Um, so what I'm going to do now is I want to check to see. Probably not right. Here's what we'll do. We can take this off. We can take this off because we now have a nice trace of the template on the actual piece that we want to use. So we can take the clamp off. We're not worried about this piece moving on us. And as I do that, you can see the shape of the template now goes onto that substrate. Cool. And that's what we need. Because what we can do is we can now use a uh, jigsaw, scrolling saw. Maybe I don't know the difference. That's all right. I know what they do. And we can go and we can cut a rough outline of the entire thing in the dead center of this pack. It's not going to be perfect, but we don't need it to be perfect because we can clean it up with the same tool, the same router tool that we just used. So let me go get the. Let me go get the. Stop. Stop. Can you see path? There's the path. So I'll see like this. So now we got the template into the new piece of wood. And that's just great. That is perfect. What we need to do is we need to cut all the way inside of this with this guy. And again, I'm not trying to be perfect. I do not even want to scare the actual clean, nice edge. I'm just trying to remove this exterior with a rough cut. So I can do that real fast. You want to make sure when you're doing that to always have things overhanging because this is going to go all the way through the piece. So if we're not overhanging into nothing underneath the substrate, you're going to start sawing your table. So need to remember to not saw my table.
I'm actually going to do that. is I will put this right there. I know that I can't go to that side of the cut that I'm about to make. Let's switch out the router to the here. Let's make this go. Okay. So it's one here. Come forward. I'm gonna put it on. Well, these blades will start tilting, and if they tilt, then actually get in a situation where it's more like it's like I'm not too much wood. Paper doesn't have brakes on. You put the brakes on the table. That way we're not moving around. Okay. This turn up here is going to be really sharp. And I don't even know if it's what I'm going to do is put straight through it. So I said that comment about anybody really notice. I'm a little worried that it's kind of drove in like that. Oh, that's not lovely. It's okay. Not really, but it's okay. Alright. Might as well finish this out. This. Now we can get that full edge. We're gonna want to do that. Is easy. I want to make sure the door keeps down, but I'm not. Careful. I'm gonna seal it. Well, I'll go ahead and go. What's happening is this guy, he'll like bend. And so he'll kind of undercut things, like he'll make overhead. And that's when you can get into the territory where you're like putting it too far in from the actual line. We want to say, Some turkey here. It's bad, man. I think so. Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, I'll probably show you.
I really hope that I'm not undercutting it too much to where all of a sudden the nice um, line that we trace, uh, we don't want that to be too far. What am I looking at here? Yeah. So all of this is the nice line right here. You with me? This is what we've been cutting, but it's like angled underneath. So if we want to trace that nice line, we really have to make sure that the furthest underneath part doesn't go inside of where this super nice line is. That's what we're trying to avoid. Um, I'll leave you right here. Cool little spot for you. And if you see that my blade is really angled, holler it out in chat because I'll totally hear it as I'm doing this cut.
Oh, let's go. And now it seems like we're angled the other way. There we go. All right. So now all this, we'll just clean up with the router. Okay. Now we've got one cut something. I'll keep you right there. Just rotate this guy. Remove. And we'll do something like this. Put that here. I'll put it on our front real quick. Piece. Move it all around. Awesome. I like pretty vertical. That's cool. Good.
Now, the Devil's Reject, what's going on? Good to have you here. I know your name in the chat. Welcome. Making a cool table today. Trying to, making part of it. Now I would like to use this other bit. It's very similar to the one that we were using earlier, but this one reaches all the way through a cut like that. And technically we could actually. All right, we're gonna use this one. This one's less scary because you can never cut off too much, just based on the fact that um your bearing won't let you cut any more than what uh the template suggests. The other one, if we were up here, if the bearing was up here, right, you could technically undercut it if you rose off of the plane like that. It I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but I can tell you that this one is, I'll show you in a second. We get the other route a bit off. I jammed my thumb like a couple weeks ago while I was doing a glue up, and it is still tingling. Okay, so this one, if I wanted to keep using this one, since it only follows things up here, if I had my router taped like this, I could undercut all of that. However, if I have the router bit like this, and I'm following up here, even if I tip it, the router or the bit doesn't take off more than I want. If I tip the other way, it it doesn't like it falls away from it. It doesn't gouge into it. So this one's much less scary. And I don't know what it's called. I know it traces things. It's probably those are called flush trim router bits. I do not know how to differentiate nomenclature between this one and the other. But we need to flip this, first of all. And it's going to be very interesting on those parts where the jigsaw kind of undercut things. I'm curious to see if it undercut it so much that we'll be able to like uh see that we did not give it enough room and we're accidentally undersizing it. Just clamping it down real fast. And the goal, why not? Up cut and down cut. Spiral cuts, expensive but worth it. Yeah. Maybe that's what it's called. Up cut and down cut. Could be it. All right, that's a cool view right there. Let me set the height of this because that's vitally important. Yeah, I need to up my router game. What happened is I had a nicer router. I had a DeWalt router that just, probably had more horsepower, better engine, better all sorts of things. And then it broke one day, but it was like crunch time for a project, if I recall correctly. And my mom was at Home Depot. She's like, "Do you need anything?" And I was like, "Mom, I need a router. I'll pay you back. Can you just get me a router?" And I asked her to get the same DeWalt one that I always had, but they didn't have it in stock. They did have this Ryobi in stock, so I was like, "Screw it, I just need a router." So she got me this one, paid it back for it, and it hasn't died yet, so I keep using it. Oh, let's see how this goes. This is the one I can't remember which way it wants to get. So we might, I don't know, if it's on right or left or left. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see what that does? It's nice. I should brown this corner. We just gotta go slow. I left a lot of material to get through, so we just gotta go slow. Oh, yeah. All right, okay. It's wanting to jump a lot, but I don't know if it. Well, I left a few little notes right here. And yeah, little bit would work really nice.
I didn't take off quite as much material as I wanted to on the cut with this guy. The reason I didn't want to is because um man, it was really the blade was leaning, so it's kind of undercutting the it's not perfect, but the thing is about these roundovers right here. Number one, I'm going to hit it with a radius router bit that'll clean up a lot of those, and I'm going to use a disc sander to really like smooth out a lot of stuff here. Um, this shape is going to get whittled down a lot more. So if it had to be like perfectly clean, perfectly square, etc., uh, I would be a little bit more conscious about trying to make sure that it wasn't doing what you just saw it doing. Uh, but again, I will be that is going to get whittled down into a little nub. I just kind of need to get a general shape of it right now. But yeah, correct. There's probably a bit that can work a little bit better for that. I could also I cut closer here. So yeah. Um but believe me, Devil's Reject, I did not like what was happening either. Uh, let's try to make that not happen on this one. I think the move to try to alleviate that on this one is to not go all the way to the profile first,
Just kind of like shave off a little bit of the outside and keep shaving tiny little passes until you get to the profile. That's what I'm going to try at least. But that tight internal corner has caused me issues not only on this one, but the original one as well. And I have two more of them today.
Alright, let's see if I can get you. That could be cool. I don't know how the focusing will be, but that could be cool. Hopefully it's not too low. Yeah, but alright, that's fine. Yes, you know, I'm right up on the hairline of this, dude. Yeah, bring you in closer so that if I mess up, you can see it. Oh, I'm getting that. Again, we're sanding all of this. What's gonna do? Absolutely. No. What's up, Joe Mama? How you doing? Uh, now we gotta do this last pass. This last pass is kind of serious. But
The sketchy part about this last pass is that it always seems like when we're going with the grain, that this router bit wants to chip away and fleck away the grain rather than perfectly just like cutting through it. So we're gonna see if we can prevent that from happening. Can we see what's going on? Hopefully that's up. Down. There you go.
I really hope this doesn't start up the brain. Something I've done before to help with that is make some little balloon. Now this. I just part of it is that this blade's not really the same. This is horrific. Um, yeah, this is I don't think the blade's ready for it. Because it's something out. There you go. That could also mean that
We're gonna flip this. We're gonna try the other blade because I think it legitimately might be sharper. Um. Oh, you're good, Fareed. Yeah, man. Woodworking's cool. Yeah, quality wood that can be tough. Um, I do think with wood choice, there's a little bit of like sometimes really weird or naughty or like not straight or not like pristine wood. It can be beautiful in its own right. Like if you lean into it a little bit. Um, but I hear you. That's tough. Like you could even like maybe there's pallet wood or something around. Um, like you can make cool stuff out of even like pallet wood. Whoa, this isn't going fantastic. Am I able? Let's. So we're gonna try it the other way. Hey, give me 10 seconds real fast. I want to check to make sure I was dealing with a phone call and a text that was important earlier. I'm just gonna. All right, right on. Cool. We lost quite a few of you. That's all right. All right, we're gonna try it from the top. Yeah, I agree. Fareed, your what's the lowdown today? We're making a coffee table. We've made one of these the other day, and now we're trying to make another one as the other leg of this coffee table. But there's some things right now that are going a little bit weird. The biggest one being I don't think my router bit has a very sharp blade anymore. Ah! And so instead of cutting the wood, it's trying to rip away fibers of the wood. And we're getting like all this kind of chunk out, blowout sort of stuff, which is really not good. Uh, so it feels like this blade is a little bit dull. So I'm putting on a new blade. It's not a new blade, it's just another blade that felt sharper, but we had to kind of change up how we're making this well. So let me see if it works. I'm also hoping that maybe we be going the other way along this grain, and maybe it will be less. Yes. Yeah, make sure we set the height correctly. Inverted now. Might be worth doing this in two cuts. Don't have a whole lot more room. We're gonna try it in one. Famous last words. Let's get you at a good view. This has been a rather chaotic and unorganized live stream. I apologize, everybody. Cool. Well, yeah.
Do we see what's happening?
Does everybody see what's happening? Like, instead of just cutting the wood, my router bit is catching fibers because it's going directly with the grain and it's ripping the fibers up. Does everyone see that? Yeah, it's not ideal. And to be quite honest, I don't know how to make it not do that. The only thing I can think of, two things, three things, uh, is it's called feed and speed. And it's the feed is how fast you're moving the router. Speed is how fast the router bit is turning. And The other thing is the sharpness of the blade. I can't really change the sharpness of the blade. It is what it is. I don't think I'm gonna go get a new blade today. The issue is that this thing only goes one speed, so I can't really change the speed. And the only thing I can really influence is the feed, which is how fast I'm moving it. Uh, if I flip it over, does that change anything? I just came from that direction, Joe Mama. I had it flipped over and was using inverse router bit, this guy, which instead of having the bearing at the top and then the blade reaches down, the bearing now reaches through the piece and the blade cuts everything between it. And it was really, really bad. So I moved to this guy because this one seems sharper, but golly, it's not doing much better. Um, the only other thing is if I got the rough cut closer to the template line, but the issue there is that when I get the blade closer, sometimes the blade like goes in. Um, it can kind of like undercut the actual template line. Now, when I have it like this, I have a little bit better shot of that not happening. Because if I tried to make a cut, the blade would kind of get pushed out rather than in. So I've just plugged it in. Let me just kind of test that. See what I mean? It goes out now. It's like not even really cutting. Really hard also to find the flat surface. And it's a little more off, but it's definitely not significant what I just cut off. It might help. I really just don't want to accidentally cut into like the underside here more so than the template allows me to. Let's see, circular saw. Yeah, that would be really nice to get a circular saw in here, and you could do some of the cut with a circular saw, or like a track saw. But getting close to here would be pretty tough. But yeah, you were totally correct about that. It would give you a vertical cut short. Let's try. Now with a little bit less to get through. Let's try it again. So it went fine. It really did go fine. Um, Another thing to just kind of mention is that only like that much of the outside of it will ever really be seen at all. So as long as the outsides are pretty good and the middle is just flat enough, it's okay. Uh, let's get you back up here. Right on. Cool. We're gonna use this one actually as our template. Um, I think this one's, believe it or not, is it better? The other one's pretty good, actually. We're gonna use the other one. So what we can do now is we can uh we can put a radius on this thing. And that's gonna make it start to look much nicer and more finished than it currently does. So let me take you over here real fast. And we're gonna look at what kind of radius bits we have. I hope we have something. Yeah, this is what we're gonna use. So now we have a bearing that rides on an edge, but then we have this thing that cuts instead of a perfectly vertical. This one's gonna cut. You see how it works? It would cut a radius, and we're gonna do that everywhere, essentially, on this guy. I think yeah, it goes on the bottom too. Yeah, it goes on the bottom. Um, and if you'll give me 10 more seconds, I need to check one thing. I was telling you guys at the beginning of the chat how we have a new guy, a new woodworker that comes in sometimes, and he might be coming today, might not be coming today. I'm not quite sure yet, but we're texting right now to see if he is. And so let me just check. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Just a moment. Okay. And let's see, is it gonna go? There we are. No, nothing yet. That's all right. Okay. So we're gonna do the new one because I think I want to use the old one and just keep everything consistent. This one, I don't know. It's not quite as sharp as I wanted it to be. I'm pretty happy with everything here. This guy's just gonna roll over both of the corners and it's gonna start looking much, much, much closer to, I don't know, something that actually looks like furniture. So let's get this guy back out. We need to take off this bit. Awesome. It's really, this is like the thing that I do with most kind of highlights if my thumb that I jam is uh obviously we're still pretty tender. Right now it's definitely still pretty tender. I'm like tightening this one by stomach. This one's a little tricky to set up because you have to get the corner, this corner, perfectly flush with this, or else you have some weird things going on. So I'm gonna bring it down here. I'm gonna work on that. Maybe you guys could actually see this. Might be able to see kind of what I'm trying to look at. There. That's pretty close. I'm gonna trust my eye more than I trust this thing, but you guys can at least see what I'm trying to do. So like I can raise and lower this whole platform relative to the bit. And I'm trying, yeah, this, see that corner? We're trying to get that flush with this. And again, you're gonna be close, but I'm gonna use my eye. So if it doesn't quite look correct for you, that's okay. All right. That looks pretty good. That's pretty good. I do not want to go and do all of the smooth overs, the round overs on this part right here. This is the part that's actually going to be interfacing with the bottom of the table. So I kind of want to keep that a big, flat, nice surface. But all of this, the bottom as well, is going to be rounded over. It's gonna look really cool and like organic. Um, we will start right here. I'm going to take on these corners so that I kind of know how far to go in on it. I want to go in far enough to where you don't see it at you don't see flat edges at all. Um, so, you know what? I'm just gonna eyeball it. That's probably that's probably the right way to do it. Just gonna eyeball it. Here we go. That's pretty cool. We're gonna smooth all of this out later. So don't worry, that's kind of chunky right now. We're gonna smooth it out later. Okay. I never want to do what I'm about to do, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. Grab it a bit close.
Kinda like, right there what I was doing.
It's kind of like when the hairdresser cuts your sideburns. You just kind of have to look at you and see if they look right. That's what I'm doing on these corners. Come check it out. So like corner one, corner two. I think they look about even. They're going to be underneath the piece. I just need to make sure they are underneath enough to not be seen and close enough to where if someone looked under there, they wouldn't be like, why is that one 16 inches in and the other one's half an inch in? See what I'm saying? All right. Cool. Now we're going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I think this looks great. I forgot how hard these coffin tables are to make. I've made them before. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the chat, but I've made these coffee tables before. And there's a lot to them. They're really difficult. They look relatively easy, but then you get into it and there's just a lot of moving parts. So if you don't know what they look like, it's on the thumbnail of this live video.
Okay. Same thing. Relatively straightforward. Excellent. That'll be good all the time. Yep. It is satisfying, but it's also kind of terrifying. It can go south real quick when the amount of it jumps on you. All right. All right. All right.
So that went okay. All right, since we only have 4 people right now, I'm gonna check to make sure that I don't have any important text from the new guy. 10 seconds, I'll be right back. And are we chilling? We are chilling. Is there a way to pause this stuff? There probably is somewhere. I have no idea. Um, what all my buttons do here. Like there's a big old X, but I don't want to pause it, obviously. Uh, that's fine. Okay. So now we can actually take this thing out from the clamp and start to see it and observe it. Um, I have to do that multiple more times. I have now 2 of them done, and I have 4 of them all together. So I have to do everything I've done today with you 2 more times. I'm probably not gonna do that on screen right now. That would take a long time. It's the same thing over and over. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna actually try to get this one to where it's closer to being done so you can see the entire process one of the legs. And what I need to do now is smooth out. I mean, if you could look at it, like the steam picks up pretty quick when you switch back the stream. That's good. You can see that router bit really burned the wood. And I can also see like in these corners, these nubs up here, like it kind of jumped a little bit, and so it's not super smooth. That's fine because I have tools to smooth that out. Now we're kind of getting a little bit away from like math and analytical woodworking and more of like artistic shaping feel woodworking. The way to do that is with this tool that then I actually I stumbled upon it. This is a disc sander. If you've been in the live before, you've seen it. And if you've seen literally like any of my videos on Instagram or YouTube or Patreon, you've also seen it. This thing is a sander, but it just goes in a circle. It doesn't vibrate, it just goes in a circle. So when you do a random orbital sander, those guys vibrate and circle. And when that happens, it gets it really, really smooth, but it's not nearly as aggressive as something like this. This is ultra, ultra aggressive, which is awesome. Um, so I'm going to use this and kind of artistically shape and sculpt these corners so that they feel much more organic, smooth flowing, all the adjectives. And it's going to this is when it starts to really take shape, in my opinion. So I'll clamp it in one spot right here. And if you look at the table design, it really like, it all kind of hinges on how smooth and seamless this starts to look. I'm going to turn on some fans because the router is a 9 out of 10 on being bad for dust in the shop. This one that I'm about to use is a 10 out of 10. So, oh, you know what? We're alive in your minds and stuff. See that? Got a new logo up there. Anyway, this guy, it's got 100 grit, which that's pretty perfect for what I want. So now we'll just get to kind of see the shape of this thing. And I think this is a very, very satisfying step of the process. Really.
I do feel this sandpaper is a bit dull. Like it doesn't have it's not fresh. So let me put you here for a second. We're gonna get another heat. You just come along with like rubbing sticks together or something. It's really it really burns the wood and you don't really feel like you're moving through anything. So we don't start to do this. Here's the one aggressive. Here's the maybe a notice the same. But you know how to use it that way. It is a much better thing. So how about it? If you remember back to your geometry days, when I spin this, the middle is not moving very fast at all. It's like really, really not moving fast. But the outside, to keep up with that same angular velocity, it has to go a lot further. The outside is more aggressive than the inside. So if you really hit it with the inside, you burn it more. Or on the outside, you take away wood more. Alright, I definitely still have some like kind of
I don't know, like blocky sort of sanding marks. Like I can still see some lines and some things like that, but that's just because we're going super aggressive right now. We'll obviously take it through multiple steps to get it really, really smooth. But that's looking very good after, this morning, this was just a rectangle of wood. Let's get the bottom now. Um, and I don't know if you can see right now, these corners are very sharp, obviously, but I'm rounding them off because that's definitely the look we want to go for. Everything's smooth and organic, no sharp edges. Um, that again.
I want to be able to aggressive on the bottom. If I do see a really nice flat surface, if these are going to be below. It is white oak. Good eye, Joe Mama. That's exactly what this is. Oh, if I can get this angle. That's right. Man, well, well, awesome. One side done.
One side done. Even you said okay. Yeah, white oak is expensive. Um, it's actually, geez, look at that hair, boy. Um, it's actually less expensive right now than it has been in the last like 6 months or so. But per board foot, it's around like $10 to $12 somewhere in there. So that's like a foot by an inch. So like a tile of white oak that was a foot by a foot by an inch would be something along the lines of 10, 12, $13, somewhere in there. But it's very expensive. So like all the materials for these two coffee tables and this dining table, it's gonna be a beast. Something like $5,000, $4 to $5,000. It's expensive. Okay, we're gonna flip it over. We're going to do the other side, and then maybe we'll call it there on the stream. Give me like 5 seconds. Let me check my text real fast. Are we back? Are we back? We're back. Um, it's super expensive. I'm about to do a project, two big old tables for this guy, two big old tables and a bench, and we're doing white oak and walnut, and they're thick. Um, and the materials are around 6 grand. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's do the other side, and then go from there. Flip it over. That's sad. Like, is this fun to watch? Like, can you see what's going on? I don't have really any concept. Typically, when I film things to edit later, I can like look at them and see if it looks decent. But when I'm doing this right now, I kind of have no idea. So I'm hoping that this is somewhat informative and uh interesting and kind of, I don't know, oddly satisfying to watch. That's the goal. But it could just be like, no, Tim, we can't see what you're doing. I don't know. Man, get a lot of stuff in my eye. I haven't really done some hardcore woodworking in like a week and a half. Um, I've been editing all last week. And then the first 2 days of this week, I've been like editing and kind of some shop work. So this is, it's both good and a little eye opening to get back to the high end stuff after a couple of weeks here.
Um, it's getting a little used up for sure. We're gonna keep rolling with it until it kind of gets pretty bad, but it's getting a little used up. Very good. Let's try this. That could be a cool view. Let's check that out. That's good. Oh, see how the burn works? This kind of unevenness. Look. Oh. And this one is getting pretty screwed up. Doesn't feel like it's doing much. I was hoping to get through one entire piece with one piece of sandpaper. I don't think we're gonna get that to happen. All right, looking good. Dear mama, hey, listen.
If I could give out MVP awards for the lives,
I think we did. Uh, yeah, I think I think you're the most consistently on here, and you always light up the chat. So I appreciate you saying that, bud. Uh, I really like the lives too.
it's so interesting. I feel as if when I start the live and like how like the energy I bring to the first 15 minutes of the live kind of sets the metric success of the live like instantly. Like today, I was coordinating with the new guy, like, hey, are you coming in? When are you coming in? Etc. So I was like texting back and forth with him, pausing the live, coming back, pausing it. And then someone else, I realized that I had their license in my wallet and they needed it today. And so I was taking pictures. I didn't know where any of my tools were. I didn't really know what we were doing. And so, like, it was chaotic for the first 10, 15 minutes. And it's so interesting because, like, just the viewership of this one, and it could be timing of day or whatever, the viewership's like literally less than a tenth of what we've had pretty frequently recently. And maybe it's because we haven't done lives in a while. I don't know. It's just very interesting. But I really do like doing them. And it's super fun when the chat is also kind of lively. God, there's so much dust everywhere. As I say all this, give me 5 seconds to check text. I'm just making sure of things. All right. Are we going again? Are we going again? Are we going again? We're going again. We are going to have the new guy is coming in. He's gonna get here in like 20 minutes or so. So I'm gonna just continue to sand this so that I can get this to him when he gets here and we can get some good work done. So yeah, all good. Uh Jim Mama, why do you have a crown number 2 and a crown number 1 emoji? I don't know what that is. You deserve it. You deserve both. What is this? Okay. So this thing's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Lot more work to do on the other ones, but this one's really coming into focus. There we are. Okay. Just gotta sand this time, and this one's good.
Oh, good. Whoa.
Ah, golly. If anyone has goggles recommendations, please let me know. Mine are terrible. Rainer Conrads, what's going on? Good to have you in the chat. You're just tuning in. My goggles are very bad. I have a bunch of sawdust in my eye. Let me show you what's going on here.
This guy is now shaped, totally, completely shaped. Right here. Bang. Looks great. That's, if you have been here for the whole live, this guy looks like a rectangle earlier. Just a boring rectangle. But we shaped him from this guy right here. And you can see how still chunky and, I don't know, blocky and rough this one is versus this guy, the one we've been working on in live, is now very smooth. And so this guy, these little nubs pop up on the outside of this kind of rectangular table. It looks like a surfboard, the top does. And these little nubs, there are two holes, one hole for each nub, and the nubs just poke up through the little holes. And it's cool. It just adds like another little, I don't know, feature, aesthetic dimension to it. It's cool. We're gonna call it there for the live because we got a new guy coming in pretty soon. That's a good checkpoint for everything. Next time we're gonna be a little less chaotic. At least, I mean, we'll be chaotic on camera because that's fun, right? But I'll try to have my ducks in a row with texting other people to sort things through so that I don't have to keep pausing the chat and coming back. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Yes, I do have something else. Catch you later, Joe Mama. Yes, sir. Thank you for being in the chat, like you always are, blowing it the hell up. I'll tell the boys up for you. Two other things. Number one, you got merch. Bang. It's cool. I love this sweater. It's my favorite sweater that I have. Yep. Which are cool. Mine's extremely dirty, but that's how they're supposed to be. And then the other thing, the more important thing, is for the 7 of you on here right now. Go, 3 of you on here right now. Go check out the most recent YouTube video we posted yesterday. I think it's a banger. I really enjoyed making it. I think it's doing well so far. I'll see what the analytics look like after I close out here. But go check out the video. It talks about this little beauty, and it talks a little bit about who the hell I am, what my story is to get here, because it's not, I wasn't always supposed to be a woodworker, and here we are. Go check it out. It's a good time. Worked very, very hard on it. But that's the nature of the game. Had a blast doing it, and that's kind of that's the point. Anyway, have a great Wednesday, everybody. If you're into golf, the Masters start tomorrow, which is fantastic. We'll see ya. How do I turn it off? Here we are. Later.